Here is the explanation video for the March test of the Summerfield Open. I'm really excited that I'm going to go see Metallica in concert. So concert tickets cost $150 and parking is $20. Plus I have to pay for gas. It's 90 miles from Greensboro to Raleigh, and my car gets 35 miles to the gallon, and gas costs $2.50 a gallon. What is my all-in cost to go to the concert? Well, some of it's pretty easy. We know we have to pay for a ticket, to pay for parking, and to pay for gas. Ticket and parking is really easy. The problem told you, $150 and $20. But gas is a little harder. We need to figure that one out. So we know it's 90 miles each way, which means I'll be driving a total of 180 miles. We know my car gets 35 miles to the gallon. So if I have to drive 180 miles, I can divide 180 divided by 35 to get how many gallons I use. I use 5.14 gallons of gas to drive those 180 miles. And then I can figure out that 5.14 gallons of gas costs $2.50. If you multiply that out, that's $12.86. So then you have your third piece of the puzzle. You have a ticket that costs $150, parking that's $20, and gas that's $12.86. So the total cost of my trip is $182.86, and that's your answer. The next question, named one in honor of the Metallica song, says Adam takes $10 from his first day of work when he's 22 years old, and he invested at 8% until he retires at age 65. How much does that $10 grow to? Well, this is a compound interest problem like we're really getting used to, and you can use the same formula we always use, which is take what you start with, multiply that by 1 plus your interest rate, raised to the number of years, and that will equal what you end with. So we know that we start with $10, our interest rate is 8%, and the number of years we will have is 43, which is simply the 65 minus 22 is 43. We can plug those into the equation and you get 10 times 1 plus 0.08 raised to the 43rd, and that will equal what you want. You can do that with your calculator. 1.08 raised to the 43rd times 10 equals $273.67. So that's your answer. But just think about that for a second, and I think this really speaks to the power of compounding. 8% compounded over 43 years provides tremendous growth. That $10 you started with, which may not seem like a lot of money, will grow into $274. That is a lot of money. And that just speaks to how powerful compound interest is. The next question, named in honor of the master of the puppet song, is S equals 8,900 minus 4,575 times V plus 0.778 times V squared plus 0.061 times V cubed. That is the equation of the stress on an airplane's wing based on its speed. If the speed is 500 miles an hour, what is the stress on the wing? And just so you know, if the stress exceeds 10 million, the wing will snap off. So we need to make sure we get this right. Well, V is 500. So really all we need to do is we need to plug 500 into that equation. So that equation has a few parts, so let's take them one at a time. We have 8,900, that's pretty simple. And then we have minus 4,575 times V. We can substitute 500 for V. So it's minus 4,575 times 5,000. You get minus 2,287,500. You have 0.778 times V squared, multiply or substitute 500 in for that, and you get 0.778 times 500 squared, and that gives you 194,500. And you have 0.061 times V cubed, and if you substitute 500 in for that, you get 0.061 times 500 cubed, and that gives you 7,625,000. In the equation, all those got added together, so we can add all four of these numbers together, and you get 5,540,900. And that's the amount of stress on the wing. Fortunately, it's well below 10 million, so we're safe. The next question is for whom the bell tolls. I need $200 to go to that awesome concert, which is going to be 2.5 years from now. Right now, I have $170. What interest rate do I need to have the money I need, $200, in 2.5 years? Well, we're going to use the same equation we always use for compound interest problems. And we know that we're starting with 170. We don't know the interest rate. That's what the question is asking. What is the interest rate? So we're going to figure that out. We know the y is 2.5, and we know the e is 200. Plug that in, and we have 170 times 1 plus r raised to the 2.5 equals 200. We can divide both sides by 170, and we get 1 plus r raised to the 2.5 equals 1.176. But then these problems get tricky because we have to get rid of that 2.5 in the exponent. Well, we can do that by raising both sides to 1 over 2.5. See how it's on the left side of the equation and also on the right side of the equation. And just so you know, 1 divided by 2.5 is 0.4. Well, the exponents on the left side of the equation, the 2.5 and the 1 divided by 2.5, will cancel each other out. And then on the right side of the equation, we can do that on our calculator. We can press 1.176 x to the y, 0.4, equals 1.06717. So now we have 1 plus r equals 1.06717, and that becomes a real easy algebra question we're used to, where r is going to equal 6.7%. So if I can invest my $170 at 6.7% interest for 2.5 years, I will have the $200 to go to the concert. The next question is, and justice for all. I have a huge spherical bowl that has a radius of 6 inches. I also have a cup that is square on the bottom, and the cup's bottom is 2 inches long and 2 inches wide, and the cup is 4 inches tall. How many cups of water will it take to fill the bowl? Well, we have a sphere, and we know that the volume of the sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. And we have a cup, and we know the volume of the cup is length times width times height, L times W times T. So let's just plug in the numbers we know to figure this out. For the sphere, we know that the radius, or r, is 6 inches. So we can take 4/3 times pi times 6 raised to the third. And if you do that on your calculator, it's 6 x to the y 3 times pi, which is 3.14159, times 4 divided by 3. That's just that formula, and you get 904.78. That's the volume. For the cup, it's a bit easier. You take the volume, which is the length is 2, the width is 2, and the height is 4. And you multiply those together, 2 times 2 times 4, and you get 16. So you have a sphere with a volume of 905, and you have a cup with a volume of 16. How many cups does it take to fill the sphere? Well, that's a real easy division problem. 904.78 divided by 16 gives you 56.5. So it'll take 56.5 cups to fill the sphere. And the last question. We're fading out, we're fading to black, which is maybe my favorite Metallica song. A room has 10 kids in it. There are 2 pairs of brothers and 3 pairs of sisters. If you pick 2 kids at random, what is the probability that they would be sisters? So let's imagine this room with 10 kids. The ones in blue are boys. So there are 2 brothers, A1 and A2, another set of brothers, B1 and B2. So there are your 4 boys. And then we have 3 sets of sisters. C1 and C2 are sisters, D1 and D2 are sisters, and E1 and E2 are sisters. So this was the hardest problem, for sure. But this is a really good problem to know because, man, if you know probability, you can do some awesome stuff. So let's think about, we're going to pick 2 kids. So let's think about picking the first kid. When we pick the first kid, it has to be a girl, right? Because if we pick a boy, that eliminates the possibility that we would pick 2 sisters. So in our first pick, we have to pick a girl. Well, there are 6 girls. There are 10 kids total, 6 of whom are girls, right? C1, C2, D1, D2, E1, E2. 6 girls out of 10 kids. So the possibility that after our first step, the first kid we pick is a girl is 6 out of 10, or 60%. Hopefully that's pretty clear. So let's just assume for argument's sake we pick D1. She's a girl. So after our first pick, we still have a chance of winning this game. But then we go to step 2. Now remember, we've already picked D1. She's out of the room now. And we have to pick a second child. Now, what is the chances that we pick sisters? Well, since we've already picked D1, the only child we could pick to have this work is D2, right? Because D1 and D2 are sisters. So since we've already picked D1, we have to pick D2. What are the chances of us picking D2? Well, there's only one D2, and there are 9 kids. So the chances are 1 in 9, or 11%. So now if you look at this, and we've done problems like this before with probability, the probability of picking two children who are sisters would be the probability of the first step of picking a girl with our first pick, which is 60%, and then multiply that by the probability of picking that girl's sister in the second step, which is 11%. And we can take those numbers, 0.60 times 0.11, and that equals 0.066, which comes to 6.67%. This was a really hard problem, and we're going to have more like this, so pay attention to this. But like I said, man, if you can figure out probability, there's a lot of really great math you can do. So that's the end of the explanation. Great job, everybody. Like I say every single time, these tests are hard, and I'll tell you what, they're getting harder. But what really makes me excited is even though they're getting harder, our scores are still staying really high. The average score is 2 questions right, which is about what it's been the whole time, even though the tests have gotten harder. And that tells me you guys are getting smarter, and that makes me really excited. So to all of you kids who took the test, congratulations. Just taking this test shows that you are really good at math. So congratulations there. If you got a couple questions right, even better. We will see you for our next test on April 18th at Summerfield Elementary at 3:15. Until then, have a great Easter.